Okay, so what we have here is a 292, and originally had a head crack on me. So it does have the head off of a 250 inline 6 on it. It is a good runner, but it's time for some upgrades. And that is what we built this 5.3 LS for. Now that we have our motor out, we need to take this outside and wash it. Fire with the pressure washer and clean this up. Take a break from engine part on this for just a moment, even though it's ready to go in the truck, but we wanted to see what the gauges were going to look like for it. So we kind of got a little bit of a jump start. We're going to get onto the wiring. We've got to build a full little harness back here for all the electronics in this. And I think the only one we got to leave open until the Holly system is in there is the tack signal wire, but everything else we can pretty well get ready to just clip off the old plug and connect them right in. Let's get to it.
maybe time lapse putting this in there because normally these fight a little bit. But it did not fight this time around. She just kind of like fell into place dang near. So I'm not really sure what to do with myself at the moment. So I'm just going to bring it in here and show you maybe his fingers, which he's just throwing a couple of temporary bolts in there to kind of hold everything still and kind of draw it away because we're hitting the bumper and it needs to go just a little bit more, but it's loose and it's all slid in onto the splines and everything. It just flopped right on real easy like, and that's never happened to me before. So but I'll take it, that's okay. So I mean, this is I guess that's where we're at. Well, if you can see, whoops, microphone. Oh my God, everything is just in the way. That's not gonna work. So there's maybe, I don't know, maybe an 1/8 of an inch gap there, just to kind of draw it back in tight. And we can set her down and get it centered because we're gonna have to drill a couple new holes for these mounts. Basically, because this was a 6-cylinder, the original engine mounts that came out of a V8, I tried to get them to switch, but in a 6-cylinder, the engine mounts are offset from each other. They're not straight across. So I couldn't find a match set either way to position on those. Pardon the camera. So that's where we're at. We got these. They're actually for a 60s, late 60s Chevy pickup, C20. We're just going to drill a couple new holes in the frame and that'll be that. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but before we get the welder out, I want to get all the welding taken care of kind of in one shot, before the dash and those electronics get in here in the computer. This our mount was just rotten. It was gone. So we've got some metal cut. We're gonna be adding a few pieces in here to rebuild that back in, and then we'll put a new patch over that. Just because really this cab has only got to make it probably 3 or 4 more years until he's out of high school and he wants to put a new cab and go full kind of resto mod or whatever he's gonna do. But for now, we got to at least make this so it's not, cocked. Well, we got all our framework fixed up. No more hole. So just to get wrapped up on the welding, this is the little bracket I ended up making. And I didn't want to put screws through the firewall, so I just welded that on there. But that'll hold the computer box up out of the way. So minus the speaker wire for the radio, I pretty much have the dash completely wired in. I just have these 2 danglers down here that I need some crimps on to get into the fuse box. And then up here where everybody does their 4-wire standalone, apparently certain wires are different in this truck. So I had kind of halfway copied somebody else's list. There's quite a few guys that have put that, which color goes where. And this has actually helped me a lot because on this side that I could see from inside the truck, it had what all my colors did. And a lot of those are different because I had dummy lights versus a lot of the guys must have gauges. So, and with the gauges that we put in this, the voltmeter gauge doesn't have a second, doesn't need that other power wire, that brown wire that's in there. So basically the brown wire that everybody uses to trigger the alternator no longer will work for me, so I cut that out. I'm going to use this pink wire to trigger that. Don't exactly remember out of all the excess wiring I cut out what. Oh, that went to power and oil pressure. Either way, it gets 12 volts. I can put that 470 ohm resistor in it to bring that down to the 5 volts for the trigger wire. And, obviously that. And then it's, I ran this is a switched wire cable. And I ran mine a different route for my switched power. So I won't be using that wire, but I don't want to get rid of it just yet. So I might just cap it and zip tie it up nicely or something, keep it hidden. Otherwise, got pretty well wrapped up. That needs to be cleaner back there yet, but I've got to put the starter in and hook it up before I can loom all those together and get rid of individual colors that you see.